Really pissed my sister off.
Oh. Well,
Yep.
what are siblings for?
Yeah, you know. Anyway, it hit a little later.
Well,
here we are. And I'm
Episode 165.
165. Thanks. My brain is marbles. ZZP Power Hour. We're here. We're talking some things and some stuff as always. This week, we're talking about concepts and forgotten platforms, which I thought was a really cool idea. Because, you know, we've got a pretty extensive catalog right now, but, you know, there's always those vehicles that we wish ZZP supported. And I tried to, I got a list. We won't talk about all of them probably because we're going to ramble.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll try and stay away from the V8 stuff because we don't do much V8 stuff.
Yeah, we'll keep it in line with the underdog stuff because obviously, should we get into the LS market, why not?
Yeah.
But you know, there's a million reasons why not to.
Yeah.
But with the underdog stuff, we're shooting around this week, and I think everybody could agree upon one thing. And you guys are gonna be don't take. First of all, this full disclaimer: do not take this podcast as we're interested in getting into these because it's long gone. But this is the what if, you know.
We don't want to make parts for Sunfires. We don't want to make parts for Cavaliers. Like,
that's on the list.
That's
for me.
on the list.
But one thing that everybody
we might make parts for Indy Berettas, maybe. No, we won't. But I sure
the
would
Quad
love it
4 in general would have been good.
It would have been.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it was
pretty
a
awesome car.
spectacular engine stock with, I don't know what kind of aftermarket's out there, but I
have
can't
no
believe
idea.
a ton.
Probably not much.
Nope.
I had one, and it was powerful. It was really good four-cylinder engine, like 200, maybe more horsepower
Yeah, I think
engine.
like 220 horse out of a little
Really?
four-cylinder back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
Wow.
My buddy
Five-speed.
had a boxy Cavalier.
Yeah.
So not the early 90s, like the late 80s body style. And it was a four-cylinder manual transmission, and that thing, it was like one of the fastest cars in my high school.
Yeah, same.
That thing was stupid fast.
Super easy to work
from
on.
Stop like first and second gear.
Well, they were like
obviously.
a little
My buddy,
four-cylinder V8, right? Like,
Yeah.
In the way they. Although, didn't they have something weird with the balance shaft or the cam was? I don't know.
it was a dual overhead cam deal. They had a really long swoopy intake. I remember my buddy in high school had a Comp G, 04 Comp G, and we used to race, and it was always surprisingly close.
Huh.
But anyway, where I was going is
Yep.
the 3800 Camaro. I mean, just starting back in the days.
3800
Man.
F-bodies.
Why didn't ZZP pick up the Camaro
I
F-body?
don't know.
Or
I
Firebird.
don't- I'm so frustrated. Like that would have been the Tim car. Like it's all my fault. Like,
Because you didn't buy one.
you know, it
You
is
heard
100%
it here. It's
my
Tim's fault.
Yeah.
We don't have a full turbo kit.
Like-
for the.
So Zoom and Matt both had Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And they were very quick for what they were at the time. And then, like, you know, I had my Eclipses, like many of them. And Zoom's like, you know what? You know turbo. Like, you need to be a better employee. Like, you need to be a better employee. You need to buy
You
one of these
suck.
cars. You know, I'm gonna give you a raise to buy a car. So, like, you buy a car, and I'm gonna give you a raise to cover it.
We're still kind of that way. I'm like, you be better. Buy a ZZP platform
Kinda,
car.
yeah. It's just peer pressure.
Yeah.
Like,
We just bully everybody into buying platform
Yep.
cars.
Yeah,
you know, the boss doesn't have to. We pressure ourselves. But yeah, so like I went and bought the nicest Grand Prix that we had in the company for sure. It was like a 60,000 mile, perfect condition, you know, burgundy one, and it should have been an F body. It should have been a
Should have got
manual
yourself a
tranny
fire chicken.
Firebird for sure. Like, I'm still so mad about it. Like, you know, our whole equalizer thing. I remember I'm so mad about it. Like, so this dude comes in with a GT2 cam and pace setter headers on his V6 Firebird. And I dyno it, and the car made like 230 wheel.
Yep.
Woo.
Sounds
And,
right.
and it sounded good. And I'm like, why does this car sound good?
I don't know.
Because both manifolds just go like this.
Yeah.
Because of the darn equal length
Yeah,
headers,
Equaler.
basic-
Equaler.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just so mad. Like he had the headers, and then they like I think it was like a true dual or something that which probably helped it even more. Like, But yeah, the Firebird is what I should have owned. It's all my fault. Matt and Zoom had a thing. They were doing their thing. And then we had Ken back in the day, too, with the Grand Prix. We didn't need a 4th Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We didn't, and then Matt had his Monte Carlo as well.
It was like
we didn't need another Grand Prix.
The old version of the ATS platform. I mean, manual rear-wheel drive, 3800 is bulletproof. So if we
you look at all the suspension options out there for the F body, everything BMR sells is absolutely stuff right down our
catalog.
Yeah, we could have so many cool parts for that.
It sucks so bad.
They would even hop over into the V8 guys, because then we'd get the V8 traffic, whether they have a 3800 or not. Our suspension components would work for them.
Yep.
And, interior mods and just the whole thing. I still kind of want one.
So do I.
I would love one, except you sit in an F body and the interior. You can still sit in a Grand Prix and be like, okay, I can appreciate it. The F body is not.
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
I feel like the interiors are the same. I don't like the ribbing on the seats.
Yeah,
the ribbing on the seats is terrible. That dates them. But I do like how I like the feel of the F body seat. And it shares the same Pontiac design.
Yeah.
Interior dash, gauge cluster, center console.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Camaro. We had a Camaro as a shop car when I was in high school, and I remember even back then sitting in that this
Camaro's a little rough.
Yeah.
My problem is I still once a month hop on Marketplace and I'm looking around. They're still expensive.
Yeah.
If you want a legit 3800 manual car.
Yeah.
The problem is some old guy has it and he thinks it's the coolest thing ever, and it's you can't get one for less than $5,000. So
unless you go to the junkyard.
Well, what's cool is the F body 3800 got the cool intake manifold.
Yeah, it looks cool.
What's our a guy with that naturally aspirated one that runs really fast? That 30...
I don't know what engine he runs, but Tim Cole or whatever from Comp Cams.
He has a 3800 F body.
No, it's a 3rd gen Camaro that runs single digits.
Oh, I thought it was 3800 powered. I thought we knew a fast 3800 powered one. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody on the pages.
I can't think of one. I know. I will say ZZP did have a turbo kit for that for a while.
We did?
Yes, we did.
What?
Back in the day.
It sucks because we developed a turbo kit and it was a pretty good turbo kit. One huge downfall is that you had to remove your AC. That sucks. That was the most affordable way that we could do it. And we sold that turbo kit, but what sucks is during our moving building to building, the jigs kind of disappeared. We didn't label our jigs, and we just basically forgot how to make the kit. Just like our LS truck turbo kit that we also sold.
Right.
That's and that's kind of too.
No way.
We had an LS turbo kit. It used the factory 1 manifold, and then it had a power log on the other manifold with a U-pipe that went
like
to
everybody's doing 10 years later.
Yes. And it was trick. It was nice. Like a stainless power log on one side, loops to the other, puts the turbo on the passenger side right behind the headlight.
You could have kept your Suburban.
I know.
You could have put it on your toe.
It's one thing that bugs me is there's so many products that ZZP made that I wish I bought and put in a barn.
Yeah. Barn find ZZP vintage products.
There's so many products all the time. I'm like, man, we don't sell that anymore. How cool would that be to have that right now?
I mean,
yeah, man. If we would have had that. Truck turbo kit now with all the sloppy guys?
Well, Matt mentioned that white Firebird.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the white one that runs 1240s in
1240?
NA.
That's not
It sounds
bad.
so cool too. When he's rolling through the pits, you almost wouldn't know it's a 3800 with how aggressive it sounds. It's cool.
Okay.
Color me interested.
And also, shameless plug. If you have an equalizer, people also don't know that you have a V6.
They think you got a 2JZ in that thing.
Sounds amazing. I was talking to one of our customers, and he was like, "Nope, I'm not running your tuner car mods." This guy loves this. Michigan Sound Wizard.
Oh yeah.
Orson,
okay.
Mr. Orson.
Yep.
He like, I was like, man, you need an equalizer, because he emails me, still about his NA build. And I'm like, man, you need equalizer. He's like, I'm not doing your 2JZ tuner car mod. I want my 3800 to sound like a 3800. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
I get it.
we were shooting a little reel Nick's car. If you're on here, Nick, thanks for coming in and letting us work on your car, and good luck picking it up this weekend. But we were shooting a little video, and Nick's car has a standard exhaust on it. And we're out front doing a reel this morning, and I'm like, I haven't heard one of these in a long time without an equalizer. But
like at idle, you're like, man, that sounds pretty good, and you blip on it, and you're like,
it's a 3800.
Shaking the building.
Yeah, it set a car alarm off the other day in the gas station while I was tuning it.
Was that the NIC car?
Yeah.
Sounding like an NIC.
Yeah, it's got a good cam.
He said he wanted the chop. I gave him the chop.
Got the chop.
What's the chop?
Yep. But so going off that, obviously you already mentioned it. The Cavalier, the J bodies.
Yep.
Cavalier, Sunfire, but they never really came in a performance.
Don't you dare forget to say the Beretta.
Hey,
and the Beretta.
We're gonna run with this real quick before. Can we shout out Josh, Sinful J?
Oh yeah.
We got his car finally fixed. It's been a dang old year we were working on this MAF sensor issue. Pardon me, Josh, for not picking out that it was a MAF sensor issue a long time ago. You'd think your tuner would know, but no, I'm kidding. We've been working really hard, and he hasn't given up on the car 100 at all. We've just been full diag, and we finally got to the bottom of it. We're going to pulley it down. We're going to lean on it. His car already is super happy and runs lots of time.
Tell the people the problem you were having.
Yeah.
So his LQ4 MAF, for whatever reason, I've seen it maybe one other time. It would just, he'd be doing a wide open throttle pull, and at 5,100 RPM, every pull it would just flatline.
Weird.
And the O2 would fall off, and the airflow would increase, but we weren't being able to see the airflow increase because the MAF wasn't monitoring the airflow. But the car would just go lean and stop registering airflow at 5,100 RPM. First gear, second gear, didn't matter. It would run 10,300 hertz across the MAF and just stop. Which is frustrating because, we think we got a flow restriction. The MAF stops reading.
Yeah.
The MAF stops reading. It's a new MAF. What do we know?
And it's not like it would drop off.
No, it would just peter right off.
Yeah.
Like it would just plateau right off. And, literally shout out to Josh for checking fuel pressure, checking everything that I asked him to do. And then, finally we just kind of, Tyler and Tim and I got together and we were looking at a scan, and I'm like, man, he's tried this. And Tim's like, what about this? I'm like, he's tried that. And then, we just got down to it and we're like, let's try a MAF sensor. So I sent him a MAF sensor, and
sure enough,
scan comes back. I'm like, I was jumping for joy, brother. Like, hell yes. So
oh yeah, nothing better than figuring those weird things out.
I got him an update. We're able to actually tune the car now, the MAF, because he's got a NIC cam with a full stack intercooler Gen 5. It's going to move more than 10,300 hertz. We're going to probably dang near be maxing that LQ4 at 11.5. So, not to run on this, but guys with car issues that are working with us, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
And when we've modified so many things, it can get a little muddy. But stick with it, because at the end of the day, I mean, Tim, just this week, how many cars were we having issues with? And
quite a few.
Even us, we get down in the dumps and frustrated with vehicle issues, and you just got to power through, because it's always worth it. It's always worth it.
Yeah, and we've got so many great minds around here that somebody may have given up because things get frustrating for that day, but
so it's just
talk it over and
to recap, just 100% faulty MAF sensor right off the shelf, and
and those are Adam Project just asked what brand. Those are OEM MAFs.
LQ4 MAF. So weird deal.
Yeah, we definitely do not ever promote Chinese MAFs.
No, not even Parts Store. The AC Delco ones are trash.
Genuine.
Sorry, not AC Delco. AutoZone. Yeah.
Genuine AC Delco, Hitachi, stick with the good names.
Yeah.
Like, do not buy any remans ever.
No.
You are like, you are better off going to a
Junkyard.
pick and pull
Yep.
and pulling 100,000-mile one out of a car there that does not have a sticker on it or any grinding of the surface of it.
Those are always pocket snacks for me. Whenever I'm walking through, I'm just like, whoop.
Walking through with a pocket full of fuses.
But yeah, so J-bodies.
J-bodies, baby.
They were the Cobalt before the Cobalt.
Ryan Derrick gets a call a week. We get a customer at the front desk a week. I got a Cavalier and I want to go fast.
And you're like, sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Man,
I heard your Cobalt shorty header fits if I do this, this, and this.
Yep.
I always wanted a Beretta.
Yeah.
Berettas?
We've been looking at them lately.
There's that one down the street at Bell.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's Terry's.
That's a good car.
That's a Cavalier.
Oh, that one's a Cavalier. Okay.
Yep. He
Beretta's-
had hydraulics on it. Now it's bagged.
Oh,
it's bagged?
Super nice.
I've
Yeah,
never
that's
seen it.
Terry's
I've
car.
never seen it laid out then.
Dang.
Oh yeah, it used to be hydraulics
I
back.
think
in
his laid out is like your ride height range.
Oh, okay. I was like,
no, it lays out.
Yeah.
really? I've never
Cool.
seen it laid out. I'm interested. Terry, lay it out.
Terry has had that car for
like
20
ever.
years.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
thing is clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really cool.
Every time I go to Bell to drop off a customer car
You know
or whatever
what-
it is,
you
I'm
know
always like,
You know what bums me out? Speaking of J-body Berettas, I was talking to Terry because he's our good guy down the road that works with us on a lot of alignments. And I'm like, hey, Terry, when are we putting a 3800 in that thing? He goes, man, if I did anything, it'd be the LSJ. And I'm like, God dang it, yes!
LSJT.
I can't disagree with him, but
Yeah.
like, come on!
I can't disagree with you, but that's hurtful.
Yeah. And it's part of the reason was those cars were big as ZZP was starting, and that was before the Cobalt, so we
man.
were only
Michigan Sound Wizards on here. I don't know.
Yeah.
We were talking about you earlier in case you weren't in here earlier.
Yeah. But
Tim had some choice words.
the Cavalier is a fantastic platform. I mean, it's just a smaller, crappier Cobalt, but one of the reasons is the tuning support isn't great. If you ever look, like, it's bad.
Yeah, might as well just do Mega Square.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. But the
Which is big for us.
F23
It's
was
got to
a good,
have the HP tuner support.
Yeah.
F23 good transmission. They came with Ecotex and quad fours, and but it was before we really got into anything 4-cylinder, and then Cobalt came out, and the rest is history. But
yeah, there was a guy locally to me in Tidewater when I lived in Virginia that had a LSJ swapped J-body, that white Cavi.
There's a lot of guys who do that.
And it was like a full bore blower build. He cleaned up in a lot of events he went to. It was a
I'm
very
actually
good car.
curious what
My favorite part about the Cavalier is how smooth and clean the body lines are.
Yeah.
Like there's no molding on the side,
Yeah.
and like when you get the right wheel on it, and all of a sudden it's a little bit lower, it just is so clean and sleek
The
looking.
no door molding, and also the fact that the door handles themselves follow the body line of the car. Like there's every door handle nowadays is sticking off the car 2.5 inches, 3 inches, and you're like, well.
Yeah, even the
That
front
messes
end
it up.
isn't terrible when you put a good headlight in it and like got the right thing going on. They look really cool.
Yeah.
And I really liked the J-body stuff because if you're a parts hunter like myself, you could find a lot of Toyota parts for them over in Canada and stuff like that. You could do like a full Toyota conversion on the car, and it was just such a weird looking thing. It's like when you see a Civic with like a Suzuki front end swap or something like that. It just looks right, but just a little bit wrong. Like it's a very weird car.
Yeah, I
Plus,
always
they
thought
got to
they
be
looked
light
great.
as heck.
That's what I thought. I looked it up. 26 to 2800.
They're really not that light.
Not that light. I would have guessed 24. You know, but so not that much lighter than a Cobalt.
But still really cool cars.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the Z24 models.
Oh yeah, you get the lip kit.
The
and
lip
spoiler.
kit. Yeah.
Good
Man.
car.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. You know what we forgot, Tyler?
What did we forget?
Featured product.
Oh, featured
yeah.
road.
We were so excited to talk about what ZZP didn't do back in the day.
Let's talk about some things we are doing.
Yeah, no kidding. We got our alternator voltage boosters for the 3800 hopping back on the website.
Yep.
0.6 volts to your charging system right here. Plugs in line with your alternator. Super cool mod, right, Tim?
Underrated.
Absolutely underrated. I should know how much it is. It's not much. You install it in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
And it is 0.6 volts. Seriously. Like if you're running anything audio related or performance related, this is a must-have mod for your fuel pump and everything in general.
We were just talking about bolt-ons last week. This is a clip-on.
It's
a snap-in. And then since we're talking about platforms that we don't really support, for our DIYers, we've got our HD clamps here. Commonly referred to as, these are Wiggins style.
Wiggins clamps.
Yeah, Wiggins style.
Yep.
4-piece. You got some internal O-rings in here that snap into a centerpiece.
They are
that should
very
be lubricated,
which is great.
But yeah, you can custom make your charge pipes. Mr. Randy might be,
Yeah, I got a couple of those sitting on a box downstairs.
But they're pretty killer, and they hold.
Not a single one of us that doesn't want one of those on every
charge pipe.
When we were talking about rebuilding green car this year, I was like, I gotta use them.
Just think of not having a silicone coupler that you gotta fight on and off, and all you gotta do is this.
So
and then
looks
the pipe
cool,
just comes across.
Works well, holds 100+ pounds. It's amazing. Yeah,
and they've got wiggle room like a silicone coupler.
You know, and hey, like it makes when you have to remove your charge pipe to change your oil filter, a snap
makes it a little
a snap, literally.
Makes it a little easier.
When your girlfriend likes to take your car to the gas station and cram all the intercooler pipes into the curbing, it ain't gonna tear.
Well, Bo's sleeping outside tonight.
Or you just had too many at Tail of the Dragon and you're trying to move the car around. You know?
Whoops.
But yeah, great clamps, good price too. What are they, $50? Something like that on this side? They're great clamp for the dollars.
Somebody mentioned it, and I wanted to bring this up. Another platform that I wish personally that we would have grabbed onto was the Pontiac Vibe.
Man.
The Vibe GT.
You've been vibing on that Vibe all day.
Dude, I'm with Tyler. I love the Vibe GT.
Yeah.
Katie had one before she got her Escape.
What engine does that have?
It's a 2ZZ. It's a
Toyota.
Lotus, brother.
Yeah.
It's a Corolla, but it's a Lotus.
But don't they rev to like 9?
I think it's like 88 something. So yeah, it's
that sounds awesome.
Very
killer.
stout
Dang,
engine.
why are you guys talking about it?
And there's that one that's just been tearing
I
up.
know it's gonna be showing up on my
autocross.
marketplace now.
Oh,
Tim's like RPM.
That car though, because same thing as you know, we're always looking at marketplace. Those are same with the Saturn View Redline.
Yeah.
People keep those forever.
Yep.
The only time you ever see them is if they're crashed or 250,000 plus miles.
That is fair.
I mean,
it's kind of like an HHR. You get an HHR and you drive it till it dies.
yeah. But I always thought they looked really good. The hatchback, is great.
Yeah. Hot hatch that came in a manual.
Yeah.
You
Hot
can get
hatch with the manual. And
better than the Aztec.
They do look better.
They look better than the Aztec, that's for sure. But especially like the late model ones where they refreshed them, they looked a little bigger, but they really came together styling wise and fit Pontiac's whole vibe they had going.
Well, you're done, bud. You're done.
I know.
But yeah, great cars, great price. I mean,
Yeah.
I think when Katie...
The interior was pretty cool.
We finally sold Katie's, I don't know, like 5 years ago now, and it had like 290,000 miles on it.
I mean, I can see why. It's a Toyota engine, so
Yeah.
it didn't really fit into what we were doing. But I think they take boost pretty well.
They do.
Maybe we look up.
You and I just like cool, weird cars.
Yeah, we do like weird cars.
We talk about weird stuff.
Cool.
Listen,
Hey.
Michael,
Weird, for sure.
Mr.
Weird
F-150,
for sure.
chill back there.
Function over.
How about this? A forgotten platform, Pontiac.
Just Pontiac.
Yeah, we were
in
just
general.
talking about that.
I'm mad at GM. GM gets rid of Pontiac. Like, Pontiac was such a cool platform.
It was.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
The
Like,
G8,
what a
the,
heartbreak.
Like, the Bonneville, all the Pontiacs were sweet cars, and GM just forgot about them.
What's cool is Pontiac made a car. It didn't matter what it was. We all here liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all would have drove it. We all would have modded it.
Even back down to the Grand Am.
Oh,
a Grand Am GT.
It was on my list.
Yeah,
I didn't want to bring it up first. Didn't want to bring it up first.
I don't know if I
Why
can
do you
afford
think
the
it didn't
Grand
get a 3800?
I don't know.
It
The
would have been.
3400 wasn't bad, though. It sucks
wasn't
that it wasn't
terrible, but-
supported.
Like, why
But,
did they not just use
well, we
the
made-
same? Why did they create an entirely new V6
I don't know.
It was like the same but worse.
It's the same but bad.
GM doing GM things.
Well, we made Grand Am parts for a while, didn't we? A couple.
Yeah, it was like a downpipe, I think. And
I just remember going to
nothing big,
ZZPerformance.com back in the early days when I had my Cobalt, and Grand Am was one of the ones you could choose.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I thought
if you go on the Wayback Machine, you can still see it.
Their exterior styling was way ahead of the Grand Prix, in my opinion.
same with the interior. Like, the interior of the Pontiacs was the coolest interiors of GM, Buick,
2-door, 4-door.
The age of green dash lights.
They got
Oh
red.
boy.
Red,
Like
baby.
red, baby.
Yeah.
Baby.
But they really did. They were very modern, even in the parts bin era of GM. Like the touches that they put into the Pontiacs just made them that much better. You know?
Pontiacs were the sportiest looking and feeling cars that GM
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Well,
then
it's like you
GM
can get a Chevy Malibu or a Grand Am. What are you gonna buy?
Yeah.
Grand Am.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
all day.
Like a Ram Air Grand Am GT. That was a cool car.
It was a good looking car.
Yep.
I really thought so.
The, the styling was just crazy for
Well,
the
like
time,
in like
so.
2005, it was a car that you could get your wife and she could drive to work all week, and then your kid could take it to prom. Like Grand Am GT, you know.
Oh yeah. We had a local guy who had he had one on bags. And it had Lambo doors because, you know, that's what you did back then.
Oh, those guys, yeah.
But other than the Lambo doors, that thing looked great.
Good car.
They're
good
cool.
car.
If they only got a 3800.
Yep.
But either way,
We could buy
That
one
was
and
a
swap
bummer.
one.
That was a bummer that they didn't do that.
Yeah. But then along the same lines, the Pontiac G6 like had
Oh God.
a lot of potential.
No, it didn't.
What trans was in the Grand Ams?
same
It
4T65. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
But I
Yeah,
think
that's why I'm so.
Grand Am fell at 3,800.
There's a lot of them out there actually, and there's a couple guys a week. Sorry, I should say a month that post on the 3800 performance group with swapped Grand Ams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta believe it's
car.
pretty easy.
Speaking of swapped things, you see that Regal that somebody's doing a 3800 rear-wheel drive
Yeah,
situation?
that's our boy Tyler.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was
Pittman?
I like that.
Tyler
I like
okay.
that.
so he
That's cool.
did the whole Grand Prix deal. Rear wheel drive, swapped his 600 horsepower front wheel drive Grand Prix. Decided that wasn't good enough.
And then did another one.
Yeah, that was the car at Dyno Days that scared Tim. He
That thing made like 580.
580. Tim's
Yeah,
like, oh,
'cause-
I didn't know.
I mean, honestly, like that was my mistake. Like I don't expect much, and then I floor the gas, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you surprised me. You got me on that one. That was cool.
Yeah, that was
cool.
That was 2018.
2018,
Yeah,
2019.
and it was way ahead of everything else.
Yeah.
That thing was
So he rear wheel
rowdy.
drive swapped that, and then did another one, and now he just bought a Buick, and I saw him buy the Buick, and I was like, heck yeah.
Oh,
And he's calling it the Granny National.
Yeah. I was like,
And I'm like, why did I not think of that?
The Granny National.
yeah, I love that. That car's gonna be.
That's
gonna
kind
be a
of
good time.
genius, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
So it's
Hats off to
it's
him
like
on
an
that.
02 Buick Regal GS that he's rear wheel drive swapping. What a guy.
That's
Anyways, back to
Pretty
the best
awesome.
car, the G6.
No, we don't
Somebody
have to
brought
talk
it up.
about G6 any longer.
It did get an F40.
It did get an F40.
that car.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing about the car.
Yeah.
It got an F40.
That car is the queen of plastic.
Yeah.
It had
Have
the
you met
worst
Saturn?
and
it-
super
the
big
worst-
sunroofs that don't work.
plastic interior, like
Okay.
vomit,
Interior.
just vomit plastic interior.
But it had that sweet spoiler on the back.
yeah,
Oh, God,
yeah,
the whale tail.
The whale
with the
tail.
whale tail, the biggest wing ever made by a.
But
I did like that wing.
It
Oh,
dwarfs.
no.
Think
It
about
dwarfs the Porsche whale
Yeah,
tail.
it does.
Think about the downforce, though. You know.
It was just
Speaking of
obnoxious
downforce, we got
enough
Ryan
that it
Derrick in the
worked.
chat down there.
It was so
wings.
obnoxious.
Ryan Derrick, you keep talking GXP. We're gonna talk about the Grand Prix
GXP.
GXP.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You
I don't
know
know-
what won?
No, I know.
I'm talking about the V8,
Yep.
like
LS14s.
Talk about lost platforms.
all-wheel drive.
I don't.
Oh, the OG.
Yeah,
The
I remember
OG.
seeing that video.
Yep.
What GXP GT something or other,
Uh-huh.
all-wheel drive, 4T65.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a DOD engine?
Woo!
Yeah.
No, that was way before.
No, it was an
DOD.
LS4 car, wasn't it?
LS4 is DOD, isn't it?
It was.
That's
That
what's
car
cra-
definitely was not DOD.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not that one you're talking about, the all-wheel drive one, but my 05 was DOD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. The Series 3
Yeah.
3800 body style. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
DOD.
you're talking about the.
I'm talking Series 2
Uh-huh.
with the all-wheel drive
Oh,
V8.
Have you
So-
ever seen the promo video for that car?
it's so
Yeah.
good.
It's hilarious. It runs a 0 to 60 in a screeching like
5.5 seconds.
5.8 or whatever it is.
it,
Just
the
a quarter mile
in
and
12.9
12.9,
or
yeah,
like
I was like-
13.0 or I don't know.
But what's funny is GM hates power and all-wheel drive.
Oh yeah,
hate
they don't.
it.
They
No,
don't.
no, they love it. Their transmissions hate it. That's the problem.
But they don't do it. They will not
never
put
do
the
it.
two together.
Like the first, like there was that car, which was like I don't know, a concept car, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
And then the very next time they did it was well, I mean, obviously somebody's gonna bring up the Typhoon and the
Yeah.
oh,
Cyclone,
yeah, Cyclone
Yeah.
Typhoon,
which you know,
You are
hats
correct,
off
Matt.
to you. Awesome. But the Escalade
yeah.
V,
Yeah.
like
Cool.
they finally did it.
Mm.
You know, a
30
big
years
power
later.
All it
plant.
takes is
All-wheel drive.
$140,000.
Yeah, 140 grand for one used.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
As much as my house.
I just saw
Yeah.
that like 3 days ago on Marketplace.
Yeah.
Marketplace. Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, what? 140 grand for a used one? Like, oh my
We all
goodness.
just turn into a bunch of old men on Marketplace. We like drop it in our chats and stuff like that. We're like, look at this plum crazy purple shoe. I had one just like that. Man, 12.5. That guy's crazy. Like it's all day Marketplace ads in the chat.
So going off all-wheel drive, one misplatform, especially that's coming up lately, is the Atlas 4200 in the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
That had
You're
all-wheel
talking about
drive.
the Ameribera.
The Ameribera.
Yeah.
But
Good engine.
it obviously we wouldn't have got into it because it only came in the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Steve
And
Hickman's
the
standing
Envoy.
up right now.
Yeah.
I think I can hear him downstairs actually.
Yeah, like the door's gonna open at any moment.
It's gonna break in with
However, that engine has a harmonics problem, kind of like our LE5.
It does, yeah.
You like what is it? Like you can't rev it to 7, but you can rev it to 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't keep
Like,
it at 7. It'll,
Just get it
You have
past
to
7 as quick
blast
as you
it
can.
past.
yeah, as quick
And
as
then
you
it'll
can,
go to 9.
Or it'll blast apart like the Space Shuttle Columbia. It's just, it's the worst.
That still might be too soon, right? Still might be
sorry. I'm not sorry. But good engine if you get from the 7 and 9.
Yeah.
That's
Good
just roll
engine.
through it.
And then going off of that, because, you know, near and dear to my heart, the 5-cylinder Colorados.
Oh,
Fantastic sounding engine.
that's a good sounding
It made
engine.
some pretty decent power. The 2.7s were like 270 horse. The 2.9s, or sorry, 3.5 and 3.7. 3.7s made like dang near 300. They share some Ecotech parts.
They had, you could get a manual with the AR5.
Yes.
Yeah, trans.
Very rare with the 5-cylinder. The 4-cylinders, I don't know why they didn't put an Ecotech in it.
Yeah.
They made their own 2.5 or 2.7 and 2.9, which were weird, but
It is weird.
I love the way they sound. A 5-cylinder anything's
5-cylinder
cool.
sounds good.
Apparently some company on eBay now makes a turbo kit for them, or a turbo
Ooh.
manifold.
What I like about the 5-cylinder is it's impossible to screw up the firing order.
Uh-huh.
Like it has to be like the coolest sounding fire order that you can have.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
You know, speaking of cool sounds, and I don't mean to jump back into the
that's
all-wheel
all
drive
right.
game, the Northstar.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
dang old dual
Oh, man,
overhead cam V8.
I have so much to say about that.
So, like, no, seriously. Back in the day, Tim, walk us through. We're dealing with all these Bonnevilles, 3800s.
Yeah.
You had one. 05, they come out with a GXP, Northstar V8, dual overhead cam. And you guys were just like, nah.
We
Was this
were
another
so
tin mess up.
no, I'm not with that one. Very cool, but at that era of ZZP, we were maxed out
Oh, I'm
on
sure.
making
Yeah.
3800 parts. We were not ready for a new platform.
I know, I completely understand.
Back then, our fab guys were like also our production welders.
Yeah.
So like, do our customers need downpipes or do we need Northstar parts?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
To
like
this day,
all of
there's
us-
still not a header you can buy for that car.
I believe it. My friend Reggie had a XLR with the Northstar V8.
Yep.
And he
love
was like,
those cars.
he did all the car audio, he did all the appearance mods, and he was like, I need to do some performance stuff. He looks into it. There's a guy that like sells some regrind cams and some like EEPROM chip tunes and stuff, like super old school car. But he was like, I need to do an exhaust on this. So we're looking at it, and I'm like, all right, I think we need to try a MagnaFlow muffler on it. So we put a MagnaFlow muffler on his exhaust. That engine sounded so good.
Yeah.
The Northstar V8 in a north-south, location sounds totally European V8.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, if
it
you look
revs
up
to
videos
6,500, but it sounds like it revs to 7,500. Like it sounded so cool. It's one of the coolest sounding V8s I've heard. And all he did was like some MagnaFlow mufflers on the back. Like
it's very surprising to me, not just outside of ZZP, how it never got picked up by anyone. I mean, the only company that I know of is run by a guy we know.
Is it the only? Is it the only It's the only dual overhead cam V8 GM's ever done.
Yeah, I think so.
The Blackwing engine in the CT6V.
that Blackwing engine is like
This year?
let's just call it a concept.
Last year?
It pretty much was a concept. It came in 400 cars, which is going to make it impossible to find anything in the
Wow, it
future.
only came in 400, but it's a
think
production vehicle?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought their mark was 500 for some reason.
Maybe it was.
But still, that's so crazy low.
So crazy low. The CT6V Blackwing had a one-off engine, dual overhead or quad cam, twin turbo hot V configuration, like
on the inside like a Ferrari.
Oh yeah, like super killer engine, and GM was hyping it up, and then they were like,
Guys,
we didn't measure, and it doesn't fit in any of the trucks.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
That's it. That's all we did.
That's all, folks. Just kept on going.
C8Z06.
Yeah, C8Z06.
There you go, man.
Matt, we're pores.
The old ZR1 too. Yeah.
I forget about that.
Oh, I do forget about the old.
Uh-huh.
Again.
These guys schooling us. That's why you're here. We don't know nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, the JPL, the XLR-V is supercharged, just like the
STSV.
The STSV that Tim Cooling here, one of our fab guys, has one that made like 500 wheel.
Oh, it's silly.
And he's been driving the same car for like 15 years.
It still gets down.
No, it makes like 560 on pump gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a spicy car.
It made, I think, that with the turbo on it. That thing has been through all the things. Like it had
the
a turbo
last time it was
on
on
it.
the dyno, it was making so much power, and he's just like tickling it a little bit, and I'm like, I don't even understand this, man.
Yeah,
that's
a pretty cool car though.
Like 20-inch, two-piece, I don't know, fancy wheel.
He is not afraid to floor it either. Like,
no,
he's not.
He floors it every day when he leaves.
Every single day when he leaves.
When he leaves, it
drives it all winter.
Yep.
What a
yeah.
Yep.
And it came with a 4L80 in the front wheel drive. Application. 4T80.
4T80.
Yep.
Yes.
So it got the good
crazy
transmission.
GM put that 4T80 in the Northstar that everybody's raving about these days, and they never tried it in the 5.3 GXP or anything, or heck, even a 3800 Grand Prix for by any means.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Northstar got such a bad rap just because of the stupid starter placement. And there was some head gasket issues.
But the later Northstars,
the later ones
were totally fine.
But like one person said, "Man, the starter's really hard to do," and then the internet was like,
Went crazy.
They're terrible engines," and I was like, "That's
not
how that works."
On one of my random late night cars and bids search days, I was looking at the late model like Seville and DTS that came with the Northstar.
Those are good.
And man, I'm looking through those and I was like, what a good cruiser.
Yeah.
Like
Big old couch.
Big couch with a big V8. I mean,
I
would love one of those.
Those that same year Caddy, but with some like 12-inch Daytons and Hydros.
I would
Big
white
fan.
one. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I'd put some silly wheels on it, and it would be
Tri-Coat Metallic
fantastic.
or whatever it is. Good car.
Well, somebody brought it up.
No.
We gotta talk about Saab.
I knew it.
And that's the podcast.
Born from Jets.
Born from Jets. Those commercials, good.
I think one of the funniest things is, so the B207 is an LSJ.
Yep.
It is, when it comes down to the short block, they are identical. Head's a little bit different. Obviously, it has a turbo on it. But you get on the Saab pages, and everyone rants and raves about how terrible the 207 is. And you got to throw forged internals. They're like, you want more than 350? Forged internals. And it's because the turbo manifold is this big.
Yeah.
And some dude was arguing today. He's like, oh, yeah, you could make 500 on the stock turbo manifold. You just need forged internals and then this giant list. And I'm like, dude, put a decent manifold on it, a decent turbo, and you can make 500 all day.
Let's talk about this. So you could probably do it. Let's put a 60 millimeter wastegate on it, and like a 300 shot of nitrous.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. You could make like 500 horse on the stock manifold because you're bypassing all of the stock manifold.
Yeah, I mean, when it's double the throat of the stock manifold.
So that's probably the original engine with the 3-to-1 or over 3-to-1 back pressure ratio.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it would be intriguing to.
Like a V3 turbo, the appropriate sized V3 turbo for a B207 would be amazing.
Yep.
Which is like 257.
Absolutely.
257
all right,
real good.
Mike, we can get into the photos now because I'm going to jump to the overseas cars because Ryan won't shut up about it.
Oh man,
you got photos?
Yeah, he like prepared.
I got a couple photos of some cars that we wish we would have over here.
Oh man, Europe.
The first one has got to be for Mr. Ryan Derrick, the Opel Astra J OPC.
Yeah.
So, I think, that one right there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a good car.
That is cool.
Why?
That's everything I want my Sonic to be.
What's the drivetrain?
It's
LHU.
LSU,
Stop.
LHU, F40, and the OPC was like the hot model, so it got a better tune. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in Australia, for Holden, it was the VXR, which also looks cool.
Yeah.
But
cool.
It's like a Regal interior. Obviously, it's got pretty similar Regal. Actually, I think those are Cascada wheels. Something. They came on something in the States. Those wheels.
I think they actually came on in the Insignia VXR has those same wheels.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they came on anything here in the States.
I feel like I recognize
They're very
them.
similar to the wheels that like Tim has on his car.
They're very similar to mine. The face is just flat.
Yeah.
Like
That
the
is cool.
spokes.
Killer
You
car.
can see the GS wheel on that.
It's like a GS wheel with a lower offset.
Yep.
Yeah. And they came in a 3-door
Look at the bottom
hatch.
of the door, Tim. How much that reflects your Regal.
It's a Regal. Yeah.
Woo.
Well,
That is like
And even the roof line and the windows.
It's
because
just
the Regal is an
Regal
Opel
without a back
Yeah.
door. Yeah.
The Regal is an Opel Insignia, and GM started to bring a couple of those cars over, and we got the Saturn Astra, but it had a freaking 1.8, and it was garbage.
Yeah.
and ugly.
Ugly.
Like bring the cool looking one over.
But Europe and Australia got all these killer cars. They had the Astra. The next one, we got the Insignia. Man, I got a whole list here of different
But
Opels that.
all people want
that's
That's
where
where
it's
it's at, baby.
Oh, the
Yeah.
long roof. Ooh.
That. Oh.
Isn't
love
that
long
the
roof
isn't
cars.
that the
It's
the
the
Regal?
It's the
It's a
Tour X. Yeah, the Regal Tour
It's
X.
a Tour X,
Yeah.
but that one went to college.
Yeah, that one got rid of its ugly plastics and
Yeah.
looks great.
That's
I don't know
cool.
why they gave us the cladding over here in
Because-
America.
Everybody
We're
wants that
obsessed with
SUV.
SUVs.
Yeah, everybody wants a crossover.
And in Europe, they have wagons, and wagons are cool.
Yeah.
Hit us with let's go with the Opel Adam S.
Matt, you're gonna get beat up if you keep talking about that thing looking like a Mazda 3. Oh,
Oh no!
I know where you
Well,
sleep.
I
So-
know where you sleep.
Oh no, I'm not into this.
You don't
one.
like the Adam?
No.
Oh,
That looks
think
like
they're-
a Mini Cooper.
I think
I-
they're cool.
It kind of looks like
I
an
like it.
Abarth to me. It looks
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, it does.
500.
Similar.
But we've got one customer. So the Opel Adam S came with the same LUV, LUJ that we have in the Sonics. It's just a little smaller. It got the 2-door.
Yep.
Very European looking, obviously.
I've tuned a whole bunch of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim's tuned a bunch of them, and They're just cool.
I
bet they're
really like
zippy.
it, but I can look at a car and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fit in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Race seats fix everything,
I would
Randy.
have to mount a turkey to the floor.
We can fit in pretty much anything with the right race seat.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's great looking. Good car.
Mike hit us with the Vectra.
Ooh. Oh.
There it is.
Oh. There it is.
Now we're talking.
Yep. So that's
That
the
looks-
Astra, but a 4-door.
Yep.
I know why you like this guy.
Well, it's blue. so-
That
It
reminds
is
me
blue.
of what the Malibu SS.
Yep.
Oh, the Malibu,
Malibu
Max.
Max SS.
Yeah,
So
well,
same,
Or
same,
even just the normal one.
same platform. It's the same thing as the Saturn Aura and the Malibu of that time, except in Europe they got the cool one with the 2.8 V6 turbo
Why do you
manual
think you
F40.
don't like
I don't,
It's not fair.
because we're Americans and even America hates
I
it.
could not own that. But I would love if one of you guys owned it.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Hit us with the Zafira next, which
Oh.
you guys are gonna hate except for Randy.
Yep, I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
That is a Randy car if
Yeah.
I've ever seen
I would
one.
Okay.
like that.
I want
That would,
mine
if I
as
owned it,
well.
it would make like 500 wheel.
I don't
So the best part about this is it came with an LHU,
Yep.
and it was manual.
So I know a lot about the Zafira.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
offered as manual.
Okay, it's
Um,
pretty cool.
I
It's
know a lot
pretty
about
cool.
the Zafira because a lot of those interior parts fit into my Encore.
Ah,
So
there
I
we
have
go.
like an airbag and all that from the Opel version of
Yep.
the Zafira, just to do a full conversion. So.
Just it's so bizarre to me how after 2010, GM pretty much was like, yeah, let's just stop making fast cars
Yeah.
except for the Corvette.
They
And-
really did.
And Europe got all these cool hot models,
Oh,
and we
man.
didn't get
You're
anything.
not wrong. 20,
Can
2000,
we
2000
put
through-
Matt/Captain Slow's home address, email address,
No, but
and like social security number in the chat right now?
he's so old, his social security number is like 3. So. You can just mute Matt for a bit. That's fine.
Just
Shut up,
mute him.
Matt.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you would.
You.
I love the.
If,
I love the
If
Zafira.
you come
That's
to
a good
Tail
car.
the Dragon
Good
with us,
car.
Mike, you'll meet him and then you'll change your mind.
That's not true. Matt's a great guy.
I love Matt.
He's got some interesting opinions.
Mike hit us with the True 140S. So this is where concept comes in. I can only find two that I
Oh
really
my
like.
goodness.
So these
Ooh,
debuted the same year as the Chevy Aveo RS concept, which
Yeah.
turned into the Sonic.
Sonic.
Cool, great, glad we have it. But they also debuted this concept,
Wow, that's cool.
and then the 130R, which is the next one, which is kind of like a weird, almost El Camino-y
Mhm.
car.
Interesting.
Oh, can't see it.
Oh, not that.
Nope. That's
Yeah.
a Sonic Camaro.
Oh yeah, this car. I remember
Yeah.
this one.
So they debuted these at the same time, and GM was like, "Yeah, cool. We're gonna get young people to buy cars. These are gonna be around $20,000. They were gonna have the 1.4,
Yep.
just neat looking cars." And then they were
kinda,
like,
that would have like competed
never.
directly with like the 124 Spider
Yeah.
and stuff like that Fiat made.
But then they realized that America only wants crossovers,
Yep.
and they're like, we have to get rid of everything cool and just make 5 different versions.
We're gonna make
of the same
5
car.
different SUVs with an RS badge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
and just give them black wheels.
Just crossover
The first one,
on crossover.
The
But they
white.
nailed it.
Yeah, not wrong. The white 2-door at the beginning there, it kind of looked like they took like a new gen Prius and a Sonic, and they were like, kiss.
Yeah, no kidding.
It looked just like that. It's the same car.
That white that one before reminded me of an ELR.
Yeah, so-
that one right
Ooh,
there on the
that
left.
looks more like an ELR. Yeah.
So
from
that's
that,
both of them there.
Huh.
Just neat little 2-door coupes. Would have been great.
Very
I-
ELR.
If
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that 2-door coupe, if that had a 1.4 and there was rear-wheel drive, I would be driving one of those. That
Oh,
would be the coupe. That
we would all have
that
one.
I drive.
We would all have one.
Yep, I would have bought that.
GM, go back.
Why would we say
10
1.4
years.
and not say LHU?
Well, just because that's what they said they were going to
That
come
just
with.
yeah.
Man.
Which does
Like, I
seem
mean-
like a weird engine for those, but
I mean, if
I
they're
don't know.
light enough,
I need
then-
somebody to tell me why GM like axed the LHU so quickly. Like why?
I
Like,
don't know either.
It was like 2-3 years.
yeah, like that was a very short-lived engine. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Like it had to be. There has to be a
Well,
reason. Like,
I
is it
think-
bad with emissions? Like,
No,
what
I
is
think
wrong with that
when
engine?
the LHU came out shortly afterwards, they kind of cracked down a bunch on EPA stuff, and GM's like quick solution to this was make the engine much smaller to get
Yeah.
CF or your what is it cubic
Cafe.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they still have the LTG. So they they ditch the LHU and they go to the LTG. Like, what is better about an LTG than an LHU? And that's a serious question.
Yeah.
Like I really have a hard time believing that the LTG is better at emissions than an LHU.
Could you imagine how easy our lives would be if a Cadillac came with an LHU?
Oh,
Oh,
my gosh.
Goodness, man.
brother,
Yeah.
For sure.
man. I don't know. We should we know some people at GM. Can't we like email somebody and be like questions?
I don't like the amount of customers that come in here and say that they're an engineer at GM. Like, yeah, there's
We get
probably
a surprising
20
amount.
people.
We're like, yeah, we know. We fix all of your problems. Thanks, man.
Yes.
The problem is GM usually puts like 6 teams of engineers against each other.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what's really the problem.
Yeah.
So many GM engineers that show up to ZZP,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
like so many
Yeah,
of them.
Yep.
I designed the LF3, LF4 inlets there.
And you're
They're
like,
perfect.
oh,
My cousin designed a cradle for the ATSV.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very
What
interesting.
one? There's like 2 of them.
Cousins or the cradles?
One,
The main engine, like heavy duty one, or the light duty one?
yeah.
We're past 45.
Let's see. Did I have any? Oh, gotta bring it up because we didn't get it here as well. The Holden Commodore Ute.
Oh,
Oh.
I love a Ute.
Oh,
Yep.
Man.
Why
yeah.
not?
You got a photo in there. It's under
Anything
Holden.
rear wheel
Dude,
drive.
I love a
3800.
good pickup truck that's
Oh
fast.
man, like
Oh. So there's a guy in Grand Rapids who imported one
yeah.
and it runs around with it, and
Oh.
every time I see
How have I
it,
not seen this?
Man.
I have to say I hate the look, but I respect and love it for it being unique.
Mm.
They're
Like,
cool.
really
I
you don't like the way they look?
appreciate that car.
We had a unique kid in high school, and I don't know what to say about it.
Wow.
They're cool.
I
Yeah.
like it. It's just a G8 with a bed.
What's
I mean,
the smaller one that came with the 3800?
The earlier Commodores.
Yeah, the Commodore.
yeah,
Yeah.
Commodore.
Which is a cool car too. Like Commodores are cool. Like,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know?
think I threw
it's
that in
basically
there.
a G8.
Yeah.
You can get the Commodores in a wagon with 3800 though.
You can.
That's real cool.
And in Australia, they call them Ecotechs.
They do.
It is
And that's-
Yep.
And
It's
every
a
once in a
little
while, we'll
confusing.
have some guys call up and
I got a 3800 Ecotech, and
yeah,
you're like,
Ryan's talking to him, and he's like, "Wait,
hold on.
Ecotech or 3800? What? Which one?" But the 3800 modding scene in Australia
Is
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing.
is a thing.
Yeah,
They
those
love
guys
their
run.
blowers.
They run
Oh, they
air-to-air intercoolers with their blowers.
Yeah,
like
they do, yeah.
some wild
It's-
stuff. Like,
They'll run extra piping
yeah,
just because they love piping.
yeah.
They're just all about like spinning that blower way past its efficiency range.
Oh,
and
yeah.
jamming it in.
They find ways to give a supercharger lag. Like,
Yeah.
Like that
Pretty cool.
like that lower intake that adds the air to air
Yep.
and loops it around. And,
Oh, that's a good car. I'll take it.
That's a good car. Do I have any that I missed on there, Mike? Any photos?
We can talk about the Speedster.
Oh yeah, the Opel
Ooh,
Speedster.
yeah.
Opel Speedster, yep.
Oh,
that's
Man.
cool.
sign me up right now.
so I've
It
Take
looks,
one right now.
looks like a good little Sky.
I mean,
they were a Sky before the Sky.
Yeah.
They
It's a
came
Sky,
with,
but it's mid-engine, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
mid-engine. They came with an L61. I follow a guy on Instagram who has LSJ turbo swapped his and
Sure.
road
Good.
courses it, and has like custom 2-piece floating rotors and
Homie
made
knows
a
what's up.
made a custom inlet for the turbo off the like
That's a good
fiberglass the
car.
whole thing in. It
does
amazing.
scream Sky to me because of that trim around the windshield.
I can't not
Somebody-
see
You
it.
can't
Yeah.
not see it.
Somebody find me one of those. I need it.
Oh, so
How-
cool.
Wait, what year did those come out? Are we getting around 25
It
years
might
on
be
those?
old enough.
2003. 23, I think.
Sounds
couple more years.
Couple more years.
Getting close.
Years. Maybe we can have one.
I like that.
I'm too poor.
That's a
never
good.
gonna have
Yeah,
one,
I'm not gonna have one, but
Yeah, I like the idea of importing something rear-wheel drive 3800,
yeah.
but then I also would just put a 3800 in something American.
American.
like a Fiero.
No,
Ooh.
not a Fiero, bro.
We
A
didn't
G
even
body.
bring it up.
I just did.
So
3800
I
G
did
body.
have it on the list of things not supported. Fieros. We didn't support the Fiero.
We kind of dropped the ball on the Fiero.
I'll donate you.
I
Like,
mean, we could
what's frustrating to me
we
is
tune them all
yes.
All
and
of it.
have to deal with all of the side effects. Why didn't we just make it easy for the guys? You
I don't
know
know.
what I mean.
Yeah.
There are like with my many years of working here, like there are Fieros that have body kits that
That
make
look-
them very freaking cool.
If you get the
Look great.
the 88 plus with GT,
GT. Yeah.
GT is good.
There's
Does
a
look
customer
good.
of ours that has like I don't know like 10 Fieros. He's like a Fiero collector.
goodness.
And he's got a 3800 powered one and stuff like it's a pretty neat car. I don't fit in it, but
Fair.
you know me, if I don't fit, I'll buy a race
Yep.
seat. Like the interior is the only reason I haven't owned a Fiero. Because I cannot get past that darn dashboard and the clusters
Yeah.
and stuff. Like
It's
I don't know what to do
old.
about that.
I remote tune a lot of them,
Yes.
like
Huh.
couple a year.
Just get a
Two-
Haltech
there-
dash.
3 to
Yeah,
5 a
it's like
year.
an
Right in
IC7.
there.
Yeah.
Plus, Fiero 1.0 tunes are flying out the shelf all the time. But
Yes.
get HP tuners, guys, because
Yes.
yeah, get it.
get HP tuners.
There is no mail order tune for a Fiero swap.
No.
Every one of
They're
you
all
guys has a
different.
custom setup,
Yeah.
and like custom intakes primarily has a huge effect on the
Yeah.
MAF. Like the degree of bend, how close the bend is to the MAF. Like there's so many things that affect the tune.
But
But
I mean, we've got I'm not gonna remember his name offhand, but he's got that black Fiero Turbo
Oh,
3800 that runs like low tens or something. and
oh,
it's
are you talking about Scott?
No,
Scott
no.
had one that was low 10s or 9s or
Yeah.
something.
I know of him, but he's a current customer. We did him on.
We did a rate my rides.
Rate
thing.
My Rides,
I remember
yeah.
he has like the exhaust pipe that's wrapped at the end. Yeah, it's a good sound. Good sounding car.
It pulls tire. It's cool.
Like anything that can pull tire on the street, you're like, ooh,
oh,
that's a little spicy.
Man,
Ooh.
and those things get so close. Like we
Yeah.
had a customer come in with just summer tires on the back, and Steve Hickman and I were in it, and like if I hit the throttle just right, it just about felt like it pulled the front end.
Yep.
It was pretty awesome. Like I couldn't imagine like having, because that was a blower build that made like 340, 350 wheel like 15 years ago now, but like high 300s wheel horsepower one on 200 tread wears, like a decent width.
yeah,
And the thing is, like, I just
Robert
saw one.
Lamb.
yeah. Robert Lamb.
Man,
I
love
just
Lamb.
saw one like a couple days ago that had like a Lambo body kit, which bugs me when they do body kits on like a Lambo or a Ferrari. Like that's
or
stupid.
GTR. Yeah,
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, don't make a simulation cool car. Just make a unique body. Instead of calling it a Lambo body kit, just make a unique, cool
Yeah.
body kit.
What the hell?
Matt said that thing ran 138 in the quarter.
Jesus.
That is
Wow.
a lot of
Man.
mile per
I
hour.
love how he says tight pants brought his
Yeah.
Yanklin's GT.
That's why I was like, what the?
Everything before 138 in the quarter is a hilarious comment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tight pants brought his Yanklin GGP and about a 3800 T67.
Dude, that thing must back end like crazy if it's getting 138 in the
That's-
track.
That's a lot of
Now-
mile
The
per
thing
hour.
is, that size turbo on a 3800 just does that.
Huh.
It
A
just-
gripe of mine with a Fiero is the Fiero seat.
if it's sub
is
3,000
pretty
pounds.
thin.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
like
it
a
was-
fix it with a race seat car very easily.
Yeah.
It's like you better have a friend with 3 different brands and models of race seats
So you can
to
plop
find
them in there.
the one
Yeah.
that fits in that car enough to where you can fit.
Yeah.
Because like, you
Two
know,
really nice place Sparkos would be
I
a game changer.
know
Yes.
it's, obviously I'm quite a bit shorter than you, but I love sitting in a Fiero. It just
Man.
like
It's low.
it's
the console's
low,
up
the
here.
console's up here.
Yeah, put it in
Oh,
gear.
it's great.
You can go. Yeah. Yeah.
My dad had a buddy who had a Fiero and took us around a couple times. And yeah,
They're
Doesn't-
interesting.
they're
I feel like everybody's dad had a buddy that had a Fiero.
Oh, yeah.
Like was saying.
Everyone.
But like they were kind of one of those cars that try to kill you, like MR2.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going
Oh,
38 miles.
I do not think that they would do well on the road course.
Yeah, probably not.
It's like old
Turning
truck
this.
suspension and
It would cost a lot of money. I mean, obviously, you could fix anything
you
with.
can. Absolutely.
I'm envious of the people that understand suspension enough to like putting your own
Completely
control arms and
rework
stuff.
the
Yeah,
geometry,
just
yeah.
cut all the tabs off and just put your own tabs on and
Yep.
do the right control arms. But that would be fun to get all that stuff right and make
Yeah.
one handle.
You
I
know,
mean, the whole mid-engine thing and the power, like.
Mm-hmm.
Man, a Fiero is an underrated car, but man, it's hard to build a really cool one.
yeah.
it'd be really cool, as these old platform cars start to decline in quality, if we did pick up on some of the swap support, as much as it inconveniences us on a daily basis dealing with customers' own swap stuff, if we actually supplied the stuff for them to do it properly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
as these cars get older and they're plucking the drivetrains out, if we sold a PCM and a wiring harness that they could drop in and maybe, depending on the platform, mounts and stuff, it'd
Yeah.
be interesting. It's interesting to entertain, even in the Ecotech scene, in the 3800 scene, because we see it a lot. These cars are getting old. You can buy a Grand Prix for $1,000 with a good running engine in it. You pull that engine out, you put it in your Fiero or your S10. Imagine if you could go to ZZPerformance and get a full wiring harness and PCM that ran that 3800.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Jeff Gordon. He's picking up a Pontiac transport van
Yeah.
and putting a 3800 in it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like everybody's doing it.
See, but like us, at least us four at this table, we are all like car enthusiasts that we'd be like, yeah, let's make a wiring harness for it.
Yeah.
And then we would build it out. We would like do cost analysis. We would get it to people who actually make decisions, and they'd be like, no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like we love to swap stuff. We like to be those guys.
Yeah, it's-
like in the garage every weekend working on
It's
stuff.
cool.
but-
The problem with that is there's just so many things
Yeah.
that will change between Bob and Jim building
Yeah.
there. And that's the one reason that we've started to pick up on the DF Goblin stuff.
Yeah.
Is it is the same.
Mhm.
Like there are different tweaks. Some
nuances to each.
some dudes might run their own intake, or they might hack up a different intake. But in general, you are just taking a cobalt,
Yeah.
and putting it in this. It's stock PCM, wiring harness, gauge cluster, drivetrain. So that's an area where we can go, okay, we know that these are all going to be the same to a certain degree
Or
across.
very similar
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
My thing is, if you got a MAF sensor and O2 sensor, it shouldn't really matter. And we're already tech supporting these swaps. Like,
Yeah, that's true. I got a couple really cool LSJ swaps.
Could you
that-
imagine how
tune in.
nice it would be if we sold a Fiero tune with a Fiero cold air intake?
and a
Oh.
harness,
Shoot.
or just in a
Shoot.
cooler.
Alright, so
yeah.
which one of us
Yeah.
is buying a
I-
Fiero?
I
mean,
want
you
a
could
Fiero.
you
Give me
could
a
potentially
Fiero.
bring that car back to life. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could.
If
If
we had a 4-inch cold air intake
Mhm.
for your LQ4 throttle body,
Woo. Yep.
it bolts in, goes down into the fender, looks good in the little side pocket like they all like to do.
So it sounds like Bo's buying a Fiero.
You bring the Fiero in.
Matt always talks about Scott W. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't want anybody blowing him up. He also did a square body S10 Blazer with
what
a
I'm talking about.
mid-engine 3800.
Yeah.
What?
Yup. And it
Like
was
in the
also
back?
fast. In the cab.
Like right behind the seat?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
What?
You go on the website, add PCM, and then there's like an extra option for add harness.
Add harness for
Yeah.
engine in front or engine behind the seat.
Man, like, it's...
That would solve everything. It's either there or there.
You
know?
either have a 65E or something else.
Or
We're not
manual.
supporting it if it's not 65E.
Yeah.
It just sucks, and all and as we always say, and it's probably I kind of sound like a broken record, but like if we, like it just requires one of us, like to say I'm gonna buy this stupid Fiero,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not insulting Fieros by any means, but
No.
like I'm gonna buy this stupid old car, and I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna make a kit for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all it would take.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes for ZZP to make a part like that.
It
You
really
have to
is.
have a car. Like, it doesn't matter how many people are like, I want this, I want that. Like, it requires one of us to say, I want this.
Yep.
Because-
and to rub the shoulders of the right R&D guy here. Because we have so many, you know, Ross, Reed, Alex, like Tim,
Yeah.
Keith. Like, we have all these people here that are so more than capable of fabricating parts. But, like, they got to be rubbed the right way.
He's not wrong. It requires a butt in a seat driving something every day
Yeah.
for things to get done, because otherwise, yeah, we can say, oh, hey, you want to take this weekend or whatever, and nobody understands a car more than they do when they're driving it every day.
Yeah.
And thinking, oh, wow, this sucks. Let me fix this. This sucks.
For example, a recent example is the LTG Regal.
Yeah.
Yep.
We sell
bought
all
one.
kinds of parts for the LHU Regal, great car. And then, you know, a customer brings in their their LTG Regal, and I'm like, man, I like this car a lot. You know, Bo hands me the keys. He's like, Tim, tune it. And I'm like, man, I like this car. I might not give it back. So I bought one.
And you're like,
And then,
man,
like-
we need an intake. Man, we need an intercooler.
Yeah.
What
So
are
I'm
we
like,
doing
we
this
need
week?
a colder intake. We need an intercooler. We already make the downpipe and midpipe combo thing for it. And, you know, I knew how to rub Alex the right way. Insert pun. Like,
Yep.
I rubbed Alex the right way. It has a colder intake on it right now. Revision 1 LTG colder intake is on my car in the parking lot right now, and I have to like put test miles on it and like.
I love how much you
test
care about
things.
the project too, because you know you're tuning it and you want this intake to be like super baller, best intake that is available for the Regal. And you're like, hey, Bo, we need to vacuum test my car. We need to smoke test my car.
Yeah, make
like,
sure you
I'm
have a
going to
good
tune this
starting
car.
point.
And when I put the intake on, I want to see plus or minus negative, 1% fuel trims, like the whole deal. And it's the kind of stuff that really progresses ZZP is when we pick up stuff like that. And an employee is passionate about it.
Well,
And it's like your back pocket side hobby right now is the Regal.
Yeah.
And it still is just so cool to see, you know.
That was like, with Tim's LTG Regal, he was like, Randy, I'm going to need a gauge in this car. And I was like, oh, word?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I was like,
That's another thing.
I was like,
Let's make a little thing.
I was like, I could do that.
Yeah. So Randy draws up this thing and 3D prints it, and we went through a couple of revisions to perfect everything, and that's in my car right now. I have an Aeroforce in my Regal in the little driver's side like
defrost vent.
I gotta
left
see that.
of the
It's good.
left
I gotta
of
see
the
it mounted
cluster.
up with an
I
actual
think,
gauge in
I
it.
probably have a different opinion on it because I made it, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like it.
Good pod.
I like it. It fits in there well. It looks good. Like, and I have an Aeroforce in my Regal, and it doesn't impede my vision. Because
in the
I am
pillar,
a
yeah.
huge fan of pillar pods until I go to Tail the Dragon in my Sonic,
Can't see.
and
you
now
gotta
I
go
can't
like this?
see Tail of the Dragon. I'm just like looking out my side window.
Uh-huh.
Like Bo keeps saying, Tim, why are you always looking out the side window? I'm like, because I can't see out the windshield because of all my freaking gauges
I got all my
everywhere.
airplane gauges.
Okay, but your Sonic does look like your DSM with how many gauges are in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because Randy's like, hey, I drew up this gauge thing to add 2 more gauges, and I'm like,
Man,
I'll find 2 gauges to put in it.
man,
I guess
need battery voltage and
Yeah.
AC temperature.
I guess
Data
I need
boy.
boost.
Data boy.
I guess I need boost and EGT.
There we go.
His tuner's like, you scanning the car? He's like, yes.
Yes.
With my
All
eyes.
of the time.
With my eyes.
Like that's how that stuff happens. Like you have to own the car and you have to be passionate about the car. Like,
Yeah.
Tim,
That's
we
the
got
only
in your
way.
truck today to go to lunch. How many gauges does it have in it? 3. How many gauges you need? 4.
I do need a boost gauge in
You
it.
ain't wrong.
I do
There
need
we
a boost
go.
gauge.
I'd
Tim's
like to
sitting
point
here in
out-
his 2004 F-150 with 3 gauges. We're like, we need another one, and we do.
Yep.
I don't have a boost gauge. I have no idea how much boost I have in my
Weird.
supercharged.
My Buick didn't break down on the way to lunch.
I forgot.
Oh shit.
Hey, we were tuning, we were
We were
modifying.
tuning. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm playing with maths, and you got to plug them in for them to work.
Oh, you don't got the Bluetooth? Ah,
The Bluetooth connection.
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
AFR gauge.
Yeah, I do
All right.
like that.
Before
Anywho.
we get too far,
Sorry.
we're past 5. Let's do a quick, what are we doing this weekend? Start with you, Bo.
Oh, I'm just going to go home. We're going out to dinner tonight.
Going to the Tiki Bar.
Tiki bar in our
Do anything
hometown.
to the Tahoe? Or the
Tiki
Yukon?
Barn or
Oh yeah,
home.
tell the people about what you bought.
I got a new Dune toy. You know, went to the Dunes once with Tim and my family, and it's been a full year since I've had a Dune toy, and it only took me one time back to realize I needed another. Dune bug bit me real hard, so we came home, took home a good 99 LS swapped 35-inch tire, yada yada.
Got God's motor in it.
Yeah, it should be something good to play with. I'm really
it's a cool looking truck.
It's good
really
truck.
excited to get into the LS platform. So
And it's 2-wheel drive,
yeah,
which I love.
we're gonna be
That
better.
is a true
Even
Which
better.
means it'll fly like this.
That
Yep.
means that baby's that means like 20 inches of suspension travel in the front.
We're gonna be doing things.
Oh, yeah.
In 4 years from now, we're gonna be doing things. But you know, it's tough.
You'll be
in day 3 of
upset
owning it.
about
So tinkering on that this weekend. Totally incomplete finished project that I'm trying to get ready for June 1st.
Hey.
But we'll see. Either way, yeah, just going out to dinner with my pride and joy, Sarah. You're probably not watching, but either way. And working on that, mowing the lawn. You know,
Yep,
Normal
living the
stuff.
dream.
living the dream.
Normal stuff.
Mowing the lawns.
I got some
It's
work-
growing like crazy right now.
Yeah,
is.
it grows like 2 inches a day. in our
It's
house.
spring. It's nuts.
It's too much.
Got some work to do on the Cobalt this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Finally putting a muffler on it.
Yeah.
Getting that stock muffler off because those cams sound too good, and I got to hear it chop a little bit.
Getting the ZZP muffler
Yep.
on the blue
Yep.
car.
So the
sir.
blue car's getting that. I got some other tinkering stuff to do, just some cosmetics in the engine bay,
Mm-hmm.
make it look good, wash it up. It hasn't been detailed since last year, so that's about it.
Isn't
Other
it
than that,
crazy?
fun.
We paved our whole back parking lot, and cars still get dirty back
Yeah,
there.
I know. Weird.
Weird.
What about you, Randy?
I'll probably be at your house tomorrow.
Hey.
Over at Tyler's house doing car stuff. Volleyball game on Saturday night.
Yep.
My wife's really into the Grand Rapids Rise.
Hey, they're
golf.
one win away from $1 million.
They're-
That's what I hear.
They're doing great things. Shout out to the girls on the Vibe team.
Yep.
Sorry, on the Grand Rapids Rise team, not Vibe.
The vibe.
We do have a friend named Karis that's on the Vibe. She's great. But that and probably mowing my lawn too.
Yep.
Like it's
It's out of
probably
control.
six
It's
again.
out of control.
Yep.
that and my green car has an engine in the hole now.
Hey.
So
Heck yes.
we're gonna be doing turbo stuffs and intercooler stuffs.
Big turbo stuffs.
Yep.
all-
Medium-sized turbo stuffs. Yeah.
It's all
Not-
looking
not
good.
quite drag Sonic Turbo.
No, not
It
quite.
is a good collection of parts going into a very nice car.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see it come together.
Same.
I was
It's been a minute.
yeah, it feels good. The fact that you're going to be up and running
Mm-hmm.
means that we're definitely getting
And we're getting R&D miles on some cool stuff on that car too.
Yep.
So I'm pretty freaking stoked about getting
Adam Project says his
Oh,
lawn
boy.
is 6 foot by 14 foot. What? I got
That sounds like a killer lawn, man.
I got a third of an acre.
Does Adam Product live in California? Where
Yeah.
does he live? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, just doing the and probably sim stuff. I'll jump on the sim racer and
Yep.
have a good time.
Might have to turn the AC on this weekend.
Oh,
At least
yeah,
I
I
was
gotta put
feeling
that
in
old
here.
window shaker in our.
I got a fresh furnace filter waiting to kick the AC on.
Nope.
Anywho, what
Yeah, I
about you,
haven't
Tim? What
turned
you got?
mine on yet either. Yeah, we got F1. I've got a carbon
Imola?
fiber hatch to put on my Sonic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got an amp to
Man.
put in my F1 fit in the
Oh,
Dune truck.
You know,
like,
between your car and my car, I think we have 80% of the carbon hatches in the U.S.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
And the drag car.
Probably.
And the drag car, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well-
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Drop a comment on if you want to see anything on future podcasts. We're always looking for topics.
Absolutely.
Either way,
We'll be
anyway,
here next week
We'll be here rambling, talking about some stuff.
doing the thing.
Yep. We'll catch you next week. Peace.